Hey, this is Matt once again. What about to the video? This is another paid request, this time for NeoPunk. Thank you for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, reviews, re-review, commentary, reaction topic, I'll try to get to as soon as I can. You can send either directly to my PayPal, which is usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992. Now, this is a film I haven't really talked about throughout the years because I didn't grow with the film. As in, I saw the film when I was young, but it's like, okay, whatever. I was indifferent on it, and then I saw many other movies, and those I grew up with more, as in repeated upon repeated viewings. So I will say it was interesting to watch this again because I'm not a diehard fan of Francis Ford Coppola. I'm just not. I mean, of that time, I definitely say I prefer Martin Scorsese or other type of directors. Brian De Palma. I definitely prefer those two over Coppola. I'm not a big Godfather guy. If I want crime lord gangsters, I'm more into Scarface, I'm more into Goodfellas, Casino, films of that nature. I've never been a Godfather guy. Apocalypse Now, again, for Vietnam movies, I prefer Full Metal Jacket, I prefer Hamburger Hill, Casualties of War. Not that Apocalypse Now is a bad movie, I don't think it's a bad movie, it's just I prefer the ones I mentioned. Platoon. Again, some of my favorites would be Full Metal Jacket, Hamburger Hill, Casualties of War. Those I prefer. Again, like Platoon I prefer over that. So, like Rumblefish I reviewed not too long ago. I wasn't big on that. I mean, there are some of his films I don't mind, but then like Jack with Robin Williams, I'm not big on that one. I would absolutely say though this is one of his best movies. Easily one of Francis Ford Coppola's best movies in terms of style, in terms of set design, in terms of costumes. It is a visually breathtaking movie in terms of how it's filmed, the techniques that are used, the music. It gets a lot of things right. There's a few crucial things I don't care for, so it's not my favorite telling of Dracula, but it does a lot of things right. Gary Oldman as Dracula and Anthony Hopkins as Van Helsing, great casting. I wish the movie was about those two going mano a mano, and that's my issue. I think that's one of the reasons why I don't watch the film as much as others. I know the love story makes it different, even though I think was a now. I guess maybe films afterward, even was it Dracula 2000, Love Story, and Gerard Butler as Dracula. Although I would say this is better than Dracula 2000. But that tried to put a bit of a love story. And there's a few others as well after this, but especially at that time, Dracula would try to seduce someone, but this definitely tries to go even more of a love story where Dracula was Vlad the Impaler, and he was doing this work for God, and his love died because his love was tricked into thinking that Vlad was dead, so she ended herself. And he's like, why did this happen? He cursed God and stabbed the cross and vowed to go against God, and that led into this vampirism. And then many years later, he sees Winona Ryder and thinks that's the reincarnation of his love from back in the day. And a good chunk of the first act is him dealing with Jonathan, played by Keanu Reeves. And it follows, from what I understand, the novel, other than the love story, follows the novel fairly well. So if you've seen other Dracula interpretations, you kind of see where the plot's going. I never drink wine, that type of stuff. But like I said, the style definitely helps with the film. What I mean by style is, for example, when Keanu Reeves is on the train and he's reading a book, and like there's a map, and like the map is kind of photographed on his face, so you see like a printing of the map on his face as if he's looking at something, and like we've seen where he's going on his face, or in the background there's like eyes staring down at him, but it's not done in CGI or stuff. It's done like screen projection. So like he's here, and then you have like a pair of eyes here looking down at him. There's a bit where there's a miniature train going, but then it's like over the book that someone's reading, and even the miniature train casts a shadow on the book. Like all these little different neat tricks and techniques that if you're a fan of film or you're a fan of this visual style, there's a lot of cool stuff to look at, and it's not a lazy production. The sets, the way the castles and everything else is set up, definitely some money put into this. Definitely some lavish production value put into this. Gary Oldman and the weird outfits. Like he has the kimono type of outfit and the big man buns and the makeup. And then you have the different incarnations of like the one that's more wolf. You have the one that's more like a bat creature. Really solid makeup effects. The wolf creature definitely looks sinister, more so than it did in Wolf with Jack Nicholson. This definitely looks better as a wolf design. And also didn't expect as much sex. Like I forgot how much sex was in this. I mean, the beast wolf fucks a lady, to be blunt. I mean, fucks her, and I'm like, well, I guess if you're a furry, maybe you'd enjoy that scene. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But if you are, here's a scene for you. And like ready to go downtown on her. I forgot that was in the movie, so I'm like, oh, okay. He's in this like wolfman, his wolf form, and okay. I love this bat-like creature. I wish that was in the movie more. Because that was my favorite design. And Gary Oldman definitely sells the part. I mean, even that bit where he's laughing is very sinister laughing. I mean, I remember the trailer. I thought the trailer was nicely done. I thought the ending of the trailer was actually very creepy and scary. What I mean by that is there's all this stuff going on, the score is rising up, and then it stops, and Gary Oldman's like this sinister laugh as the music is gone. And then you have this like creepy music, like like a heartbeat type of music, down, 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 showing the names, down, down. Then Anthony Hopkins ends it. I thought that ending of that trailer was actually pretty scary, pretty creepy. I don't know what it is, just the sound design. Like, no, we don't take this movie seriously. So you think. Although at times the movie does come off a bit campier than you would think. So, the ending of that trailer, I would say, is scarier than the movie. And that's the thing, is that as much as I'm enjoying, like, the music is very well done, and the way the technical aspects, like the way the shadow moves when Gary Oldman doesn't move, and the way they make the shadow really come alive, and how it affects the environment. The transitions, like when Anthony Hopkins sets a fire around to protect them, and then it transitions to the sun, like the ring of fire goes into the sun. Like I said, that stuff is nice to look at. Like the makeup effects, like I said, the music, the score fits the film very well. Anthony Hopkins does a bang-up job as Van Helsing. He really does. He's gusto in the role. Same with Gary Oldman. And that's what I mean. I wish there was more of those guys going head to head. and strictly that. Because Keanu Reeves sucks, and Winona Ryder I think kind of sucks. And I like them as actors and actresses. And I agree with some people. I know Red Letter Media said this. Other people have said this. That a lot of the other people feel like they're at a stage play. Oh, doth thou let us do our daily bread here. Well, Gary Oldman and Anthony Hopkins is much more gusto, and they're just much more natural in their delivery of this old time dialect. Keanu Reeves, listen, I love Keanu Reeves. I've mentioned many times how much I love Keanu Reeves. I'm a big fan. I love the first two Bill and Ted films. Third film can eat me. I like the first three Matrix films. Yes, that includes even Matrix 2 and 3. I like Constantine. I don't think we need a sequel. I think it's too late. But I like Constantine. I really enjoy, what was it, the John Wick films. Street Teens. There's a lot of Keanu films I like. This is a terrible performance. This is one of his worst performances. He was not ready for this role in this time of his life. He just wasn't. A few years later, he would do the film Speed, which is one of my favorites. That was more fitting. I think that was a better gradual process of his acting than this movie. I think, when he's going toe-to-toe with Gary Oldman or Anthony Hopkins, it doesn't end well. And as much as I like Keanu Reeves, he's not good. His reactions are very blasé. With some crazy stuff he witnesses, he doesn't have too much of a reaction. And yeah, the white gray hair in the third act, it's very fake looking. It looks like he got a shitload of dandruff in his head. Winona Ryder, I thought she kind of sucked too. And that's why I didn't really care about the love story. Winona Ryder, I don't mind her in Stranger Things. I think she was one of the better parts of season 1. I don't mind her in Edward Scissorhands. Did not like her in Alien Resurrection. I liked her in Beetlejuice. I don't like her in this. I didn't. Her and Keanu Reeves kind of fit well in terms of acting, because they kind of have similar acting styles. Like they're ready for the school play. And I know people disagree, and that's fine, but I don't know, man. I mean, I think if you had someone like Demi Moore, or I'm trying to think who in this time period would have been better. I suppose it has to be someone a bit younger. I can't remember how old she was and what age range it would be. I'd have to look at a list, but Gina Davis. I don't know. I don't think. I'm not sure about Winona Ryder in this. I'm really not. And that really hurt the love story aspect. Like, that was the least interesting part to me, was the love story. I know that's supposed to be the best part of it. I mean, the damn tagline is "Love never dies," and again, that's what makes it different from the others. But I'm like, can we bring back Anthony Hopkins, or can he come into the story sooner, please? Can we have more scenes of Hopkins and Gary Oldman going back and forth? These two damn good actors. Can we have more of that, please? I prefer more of that. Can we see more of this bat creature that looks really cool? That goes in the shadow and then it turns to a bunch of rats. Can we see more of that creature, please? Nah. I mean, when Hopkins cuts the heads off the 3 vampires and has them, it's like, Drago! For a second, I thought he said Drago. I'm like, what is he, Rocky 4? Like, Drago! Drago! No. Yeah, but what can I say? I love Rocky 4, so it reminded me a little bit of Rocky 4, but he didn't say Drago. That'd be funny if Drago popped up in this and he was a vampire. He's like Gary Oldman's vampire henchman is Dolph Lundgren is. That's what happened to Drago. He went back in time and turned to a vampire. Well, that would have been better than Creed 2. But, like I said, the music fits very well. It's very grandiose and it fits for his time period. The finale, they try to put a bit more action compared to, like, the Bela Lugosi Dracula films and things of that time. Because Francis Ford Coppola had a bit more money to spend. And like I say, it's very artful. It's very stylistic. As a guy that enjoys films and enjoys visual styles, it was great to look at for the aesthetics. Like I said, I think Gary Oldman and the way he was at the beginning with the old makeup, and he tastes like oh, you nicked yourself, and he's like really devouring the razor blade, relishing it, playing to the strengths of the makeup. I remember as a kid thinking that look was kind of goofy looking, but as it is now, I don't mind the look. I still say my favorite Dracula is Bela Lugosi, but Gary Oldman did do a good job. I say Anthony Hopkins is Van Helsing. I was wishing to see more of him. I gotta admit, I wish I saw more of him. I wish he was in the film more. I wish it was told from his point of view. And if you can't tell from his point of view, then just get rid of. Like I said, I know that's the appeal of it, but I'd rather just get rid of Winona Ryder in the love story. But again, if people say that, it'd be the same bit. But the way it's told, and the visual style, and the music, and you got these two actors, I'd be fine if it was the same old. If it was done in this cool, stylistic way with the set design and the music and everything in between. I would have been fine with that. Because I said the love story and Winona Ryder, and as well as Keanu Reeves, is like the weakest part of the movie to me. To the point I just want to fast forward through those scenes. Also, even the other actors, like you got Billy Campbell from The Rocketeer, Terry Ellis from The Princess Bride. I mean, Terry Ellis probably would have done better than Keanu Reeves if you switched that out. Like if Terry Ellis was the Jonathan instead of Keanu Reeves, that probably would have been a bit better. But I don't know. I'm trying to think like who else could have done it. I don't know. I don't know why. For some reason, I kept thinking of Dracula Dead 11 with Leslie Nielsen. I don't know why, but as I'm watching certain seasons, I mean, it's the old Dracula ways but I just would see scenes and then keep thinking of like a scene from Dracula Dead 11 and start laughing. I'm like, no, I'm not laughing at the film. I'm laughing at that. Brinfield, you idiot. But I mean, it's definitely, if you're at all interested in the Dracula lore, I never read the book, or I should say the original source material. People say that it's a bit more like it than other versions. Yeah, I don't know how truthful that is. At the very least, you got two commanding actors, Gary Oldman and Anthony Hopkins. You do get some pretty solid direction, to be fair, to Francis Ford Coppola. It's at least a marvel to watch in terms of directing, style, aesthetics, music. Like I've repeated a lot. Again, I wish the love story either wasn't there, or maybe with a different actress other than Winona Ryder to be stronger. The first half, sadly, as much as I like Keanu Reeves, he is the weakest part of that. He overstepped his bounds. I hate to say it. It's just he wasn't ready for it. He got thrown to the deep pool and he drowned. He wasn't ready for it, man. Give him a life preserver. And, thankfully, as much as I like Keanu Reeves, he is limited in what. There's certain things you give him, but there's certain things just out of his range. A man's got to know his limitations, as someone once said. And overall, yeah, I would say I liked the film. I did like it. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.